One car, different badge. That's badge engineering. And despite the name, there's barely any actual engineering involved. There are two main approaches: rebadge your own car under another brand in your group, or pay another automaker to slap your logo on their vehicle. Sounds simple, but the results aren't always clean. Sometimes the brand doing the rebadging gets burned when the product doesn't match their reputation, or the original maker gives up more than they should in the deal. To see how wild badge engineering can get, here are 17 cars that were sold under totally different names, but are basically the same underneath. Number 1. Land Rover Discovery, Honda Crossroad. In the early 1990s, Honda was missing something in its lineup: an off-road SUV. While it excelled in compact cars and sedans, it had nothing rugged to compete in the growing 4x4 market. To solve this, Honda struck a deal with Land Rover to rebadge the first-generation Discovery and sell it in Japan and New Zealand. The result? The Honda Crossroad, which launched in 1993. The car was practically identical to the Discovery under the hood. Same body, same engine, same British soul. Honda only swapped out the badge and made a few minor interior tweaks. But here's the thing: the Crossroad was expensive, largely because it was still being imported from the UK. On top of that, it carried the same reliability concerns that haunted early Land Rovers. Japanese buyers, who were used to bulletproof reliability from Toyota and Nissan, weren't impressed. Sales were weak, and Honda quietly pulled the Crossroad off the market by 1998. Number 2. BMW Z4, Toyota Supra A90. When Toyota brought back the iconic Supra in 2019, fans were excited and skeptical. That's because the new Supra was co-developed with BMW. Underneath the sleek body, it's essentially a BMW Z4. It uses the same engine, same transmission, and even shares many interior components. Performance-wise, it's excellent. The 3-liter turbocharged inline-six is fast and responsive, but some Toyota purists were disappointed. To them, the Supra is more than just a name. It's a legacy. And seeing it share so much with a German roadster didn't sit well with everyone. Still, many enthusiasts argue it's the best driving Supra ever. And if partnering with BMW was what it took to make that happen, maybe it wasn't such a bad idea after all. Number 3. Mazda 2, Scion IA, Toyota Yaris IA. In 2015, Toyota needed a budget-friendly small car for its now-defunct youth-focused brand, Scion. Instead of building one from scratch, they turned to Mazda. The Mazda 2 sedan was already a solid platform, efficient, affordable, and fun to drive, so Toyota rebadged it as the Scion IA. They changed the grille, slapped on a new badge, and rolled it out in the US. A year later, Scion was shut down entirely. Rather than kill the model, Toyota simply renamed it the Toyota Yaris IA. Underneath, though, it was still very much a Mazda 2. Same engine, same interior layout, even the infotainment system, pure Mazda. For a while, Toyota was selling two different Yaris models: the hatchback built by Toyota and the sedan built by Mazda. Number 4. BMW 7 Series, Rolls-Royce Ghost. The Rolls-Royce Ghost is one of the most luxurious cars in the world. But beneath the handcrafted wood and leather lies a surprising base: the BMW 7 Series. Since BMW owns Rolls-Royce, it made sense to borrow engineering from its flagship sedan. The Ghost shares the same basic platform as the 7 Series, and even uses a BMW-derived twin-turbo V12 engine. But Rolls took that foundation and went way beyond. Every panel, every stitch, every switch inside screams handcrafted elegance. So while the bones may be German, the experience is unmistakably Rolls. Number 5. Toyota IQ, Aston Martin Signate. This one's a head-scratcher. Around 2011, Aston Martin, famous for V12-powered sports cars, faced pressure to reduce emissions across its lineup. To meet EU regulations, they needed something extremely efficient. So they took the tiny Toyota IQ, added a posh interior, redesigned the front end to resemble a mini DB9, and named it the Aston Martin Signate. Mechanically, it was still a Toyota. Same 1-liter engine, same 3-cylinder power, but it now came with hand-stitched leather seats, wood trim, and a starting price 3 times higher than the IQ. The idea? To sell it as a city car for Aston Martin owners. Instead, it became a joke. Customers didn't want a glorified Toyota with an Aston badge. The car flopped and was discontinued just 2 years later. Number 6. Audi Q8 Lamborghini Urus. Lamborghini hadn't made an SUV since the wild LM002 back in the 1980s. That changed in 2018 with the release of the Lamborghini Urus, a high-performance SUV that quickly became a bestseller. But here's the catch. Beneath the sharp angles, the aggressive lines, and the raging bull badge, the Urus is basically an Audi Q8. Thanks to the Volkswagen Group's shared platforms, the Urus rides on the same MLB Evo architecture used by the Q8, Porsche Cayenne, Bentley Bentayga, and even the VW Touareg. It also uses a 4-liter twin-turbo V8, just like the Audi. To be fair, Lamborghini tuned the engine, added upgraded suspension, and wrapped everything in dramatic Italian styling. But at its core, it's more Audi than most people think. Number 7. Hyundai Kreta, Kia Seltos. Next, we have the Hyundai Kreta and the Kia Seltos. Two compact SUVs that look very different, but are built on the same platform. This isn't a surprise, since Kia is a subsidiary of Hyundai. The two brands often share engines, drivetrains, and even interior components. What sets them apart is styling and feature tuning. The Kreta tends to look a bit more family-focused, while the Seltos is marketed as a sportier, more premium alternative. Depending on the region, one might offer more features or different trim levels. Still, underneath the skin, they're practically twins. Most buyers wouldn't know unless they dug into the specs. Number 8. Audi R8 Lamborghini Aventador, partial overlap. Now, let's talk about supercars. The Audi R8 and the Lamborghini Aventador are not exact twins, but they do have some overlap. Technically, the R8 shares more in common with the Lamborghini Huracan, since both use a naturally aspirated V10 and share a similar chassis. But if you pop the hood and dive deeper, you'll see shared electronic systems, interior tech, and even production facilities. While the Aventador uses a V12 and is built on a completely different carbon fiber platform, it still benefits from Audi's engineering, especially in things like infotainment and electronics. Before we move on to the next cars on this list, take a second to hit that like button if you're enjoying this video. It really helps the channel grow and lets us bring you more interesting videos in the world of cars. And if you haven't already, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a video like this. Number 9. Volkswagen Chiron, Seiat Alhhamra, Ford Galaxy. Back in the 90s, Ford and Volkswagen teamed up for a joint project. The result was a trio of almost identical minivans: the Volkswagen Chiron, the Seiat Alhhamra, and the Ford Galaxy. All three were built in the same factory in Portugal and shared the same platform, engines, and body structure. Differences? Mostly cosmetic: badges, grille designs, and trim options. Even the dashboards were nearly identical. These rebadged MPVs became common across Europe, serving families who wanted space and practicality, without caring much about branding. Number 10. Subaru Empreza, Saab 92X. In the early 2000s, General Motors had a stake in both Saab and Subaru. Looking to expand Saab's lineup, they borrowed the Subaru Empreza and rebadged it as the Saab 92X. While it had a Saab grille and a slightly revised interior, the 92X was nearly identical to the Empreza underneath. It came with the same engines. Nicknamed the Subaru by enthusiasts, it was Saab's attempt to offer a compact performance wagon. Unfortunately, it didn't do well in the market and was discontinued after just 2 years. Number 11. Mitsubishi 3000 GT, Dodge Stealth. In the early 1990s, Mitsubishi developed a high-tech sports car called the 3000 GT. It featured all-wheel drive, twin turbocharging, active aerodynamics, and even four-wheel steering. But in the US, there was a twist. Mitsubishi partnered with Chrysler to rebadge the car as the Dodge Stealth. The Dodge version had different front and rear styling to make it feel more American. But under the skin, it was the same exact car. Both models shared the same engines, chassis, and performance features. At the time, this was one of the most advanced cars on the road. Whether buyers chose the Mitsubishi or the Dodge, they were getting a seriously capable machine. The rebadge didn't fool car fans, though. Everyone knew the Stealth was just a 3000 GT with Dodge logos. Number 12. Daewoo Kalos, Chevrolet Aveo, Pontiac G3, Suzuki Swift Plus. The Daewoo Kalos was a small Korean-built budget car that found its way into nearly every market on the planet. When General Motors took over Daewoo in the early 2000s, they rebadged the Cultus for different regions. In North America, it became the Chevrolet Aveo. In Canada, it was sold as the Pontiac G3 and also as the Suzuki Swift Plus. These cars were almost identical, with only minor cosmetic tweaks between them. Despite the low price tag and modest performance, this car became a global staple for first-time drivers and budget-conscious buyers. It was easy to maintain, cheap to run, and practically disposable. Most people didn't even realize they were driving a Daewoo. Number 13. Suzuki Cultus, Geo Metro, Chevrolet Sprint, Pontiac Firefly, Holden Monaro. The Suzuki Cultus might be one of the most rebadged cars in automotive history. General Motors used this Japanese compact car as the foundation for several models across different continents. In the US, it became the Geo Metro. In Canada, you could find it as the Pontiac Firefly. In other regions, it was sold as the Chevrolet Sprint and Holden Monaro. All versions were known for being light, fuel-efficient, and very basic. These were cars built to be affordable above all else. In an era when people were just starting to care about fuel economy, the Cultus and its clones fit the bill perfectly. Number 14. Holden Monaro, Pontiac GTO, Chevrolet Lumina Coupe, Vauxhall Monaro. Australia gave us the Holden Monaro, a V8-powered coupe with muscle car vibes. But instead of keeping it local, Holden shipped the car overseas under different names. In the US, it was rebadged as the Pontiac GTO from 2004 to 2006. In the Middle East, it was sold as the Chevrolet Lumina Coupe. In the UK, it wore the Vauxhall Monaro badge. Mechanically, all versions were nearly identical. The biggest changes came down to compliance with local regulations and badging. This was a rare case where a muscle car didn't come from Detroit, but from down under. Number 15. Toyota Matrix, Pontiac Vibe, Toyota Volts. Next up is a true joint venture. Toyota and General Motors worked together to create a versatile compact hatchback. The result was the Toyota Matrix and the Pontiac Vibe, both built at a shared factory in California. They used the same engines, same chassis, and even the same interior components. Styling was slightly tweaked to match each brand's look, but otherwise they were the same vehicle. Even more interesting, Toyota took the Pontiac version and sold it in Japan as the Toyota Volts. So in the end, Toyota co-designed car with GM, rebadged it as a Pontiac, and then rebadged the Pontiac back into a Toyota. It's a full circle of rebadging. Number 16. Chevrolet Trailblazer, GMC Envoy, Buick Rainier, Oldsmobile Bravada, Isuzu Ascender, Saab 97X. In the early 2000s, General Motors utilized its GMT 360 platform to produce a series of mid-size SUVs that, while mechanically similar, were marketed under different brands to appeal to various customer segments. The Chevrolet Trailblazer served as the base model, offering a standard 4.2-liter inline-six engine and optional V8s, catering to mainstream buyers seeking a reliable SUV. The GMC Envoy shared the Trailblazer's mechanical components, but featured more upscale interior materials and styling cues to attract a slightly more premium market. Buick's Rainier took luxury a step further, incorporating additional sound insulation, refined suspension tuning, and higher quality interior finishes to appeal to comfort-focused consumers. The Oldsmobile Bravada, available until 2004, was positioned as a luxury SUV with distinctive styling and features, serving as a bridge between the mainstream and premium segments. Isuzu's Ascender was essentially a rebadged Trailblazer, aimed at filling the gap left by the discontinuation of Isuzu's own SUV models in the US market. The Saab 97X, produced from 2005 to 2009, was Saab's entry into the SUV market, featuring unique front-end styling, a Saab-tuned suspension, and more European-influenced interior, yet still sharing the GMT 360 platform. Number 17. Nissan Navara, Renault Alaskan, Mercedes-Benz X-Class. Nissan's Navara pickup truck served as the foundation for both the Renault Alaskan and the Mercedes-Benz X-Class, as part of a strategic alliance to expand market reach and share development costs. The Renault Alaskan, introduced in 2016, featured minor design tweaks such as a different front grille and badging, but remained largely identical to the Navara in terms of mechanics and interior layout. Mercedes-Benz entered the pickup market with the X-Class in 2017, aiming to offer a premium alternative in the segment. While the X-Class shared the Navara's chassis and some engines, Mercedes implemented significant changes, including a wider track, unique body panels, and a redesigned interior featuring higher quality materials, and the brand's infotainment system. Despite these efforts, the X-Class struggled to convince consumers of its premium positioning, with many perceiving it as an overpriced Navara. Sales were underwhelming, leading to the discontinuation of the X-Class in 2020. We've just covered 17 cars that are virtually identical under different brand names, and it shows how blurred the lines can be in today's auto industry. While badge engineering saves companies money, it can leave consumers paying more for what's essentially the same car. Did we leave out a pair of lookalikes you've seen on the streets? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you stay ahead of the auto game.